You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, our very own Melissa Alexis shares how McDonald County schools are seeing a boom in teacher applicants ahead of the upcoming school year.
Also, an area church teams up with the city of Pittsburgh and local police to help kids get ready for the upcoming school year.
And we've got thunderstorms rolling through the area this morning and some heavy rain to go along with all that. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. Many of you probably waking up to a loud start to your day.
Yes.
So just want to start off by saying we don't have any severe weather in our area at this time, but we do have some storms producing upwards of 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts and a lot of lightning with these storms. So you want to make sure you're being safe out there as this activity continues to roll through. And we're going to take a deeper look at all that here in just a moment. But school is just around the corner.
Yes, it is. And the McDonald County School District is seeing an increase in qualified teacher applicants as they prepare to implement a 4-day school week for the very first time.
KOAM's Melissa Alexis visited McDonald County High School to learn more.
And again, talk to your building principal and see.
Teachers gathered at McDonald County for the new Teacher Academy in preparation of the new school year. This school year is a little different because McDonald County School District will be having a 4-day school week.
Teachers are going to be happier. They're going to be better rested on the weekend. Whenever they come back on Tuesday, they're going to have more energy in the classroom.
The implementation of this new 4-day school week has caused the district to see a huge boom in qualified teachers looking to work for McDonald County School District. So much so that every one of their teaching positions are full for the first time in many years.
Last year we had 35 non-certified teachers in our district. This year we have 5. So definitely it has increased the amount of certified teachers to our district.
Diana Chamberlain is an instructional coach for the McDonald County School District and says last year they relied heavily on long-term substitute teachers to fill their teacher positions.
Open teaching positions that had to be filled by long-term subs, and we were very grateful for them to step into that place. But this year, because of the 4-day week, we've been able to fill our classrooms with more certified teachers.
Eric Findley, the superintendent, says he hopes this new 4-day school week helps teachers avoid burnout.
If you've done this for very long at all, and it is a grueling job, it's a great job, it's a great occupation, but it is rough.
Due to the new shorter week, their school day will now be longer to meet the state minimum requirements. Reporting in McDonald County, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
For the new shorter school week, there will be no classes on Monday.
McDonald County is the second largest school district in Missouri to implement a 4-day school week. And I know it's become a thing, not just for school districts, but for a number of employers as well.
Absolutely.
We're doing that 4-day week. So I think if we just add an extra day to the week, we can sort it out that way. 4 on, 4 off. Why not?
You know what? That sounds pretty nice, Chris.
I'm
like
not
the
necessarily
way you
opposed
think.
to that.
No.
So, and you may want to take the day off and enjoy the sound of rain, but you also need to be careful as you're heading out this morning. Getting a lot of lightning with these thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, and we've got what was 3 separate areas of thunderstorms that all branched off of one main complex across parts of Kansas. So this is the main complex here, stretching all the way back just west of Ponca City, now west of Chanute and up near Burlington. Then we had a line form ahead of that. And most of this line that was ahead of it has begun to merge with that main complex. And then a third group of storms, look at some of this, has kind of speared off southeasterly from this complex as well. So we're going to start down into southwestern Missouri. We've got a few showers near Greenfield. This guy northeast of Carthage has really picked up. Same with the one over Jasper and southwest of Lamar, where just 20-30 minutes ago they were just a few light showers. And we've got another one near Monette and one northeast of Cassville. Thunderstorms north of Pittsburgh and Girard, but you're undoubtedly hearing the thunder and seeing some of that lightning out there. Then we get into all of this, and this is what's most impressive. This area here, we did a count not long ago, more than 200 lightning strikes in this zone alone. So you've got to play it safe with the lightning out there. It is dangerous. It is deadly. We've got this stretching back through Fredonia, Yates Center, Sedan, Howard, Independence. You just got through one set of storms. You got another one coming in. Parsons, you're up next. Chanute, you're in round 2. Iola, you're coming up on some additional storms as well. All of this, again, pushing off to the east-southeast. And while we're not really anticipating any widespread severe weather, we have enough ingredients out there that these storms will persist at least into the early afternoon, and it won't be until about 4 o'clock or so that the last of these rain showers will begin to roll out of here. Quick look at temperatures this morning. We've got low, mid, and upper 70s out there. Even where the rain's falling, still quite warm, and we're looking at most of us reaching highs into the upper 80s and low 90s with those storms out there, and we'll go partly cloudy into the afternoon. Some of us, though, may, like yesterday with more rain, more cloud cover, may only make the low 80s. We'll continue to track these storms for you and talk about some dangerous heat that's on the way in the full forecast, and that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. The kids in Pittsburgh beat the heat and had some fun before school starts once again. Victory Life Church partnered with the city and police department to host a back-to-school event at Lincoln Park. It featured free access to the city pool, free kiddie land rides, free mini golf, and free food.
I hope they take that there's somebody that cares. I hope they think that there's a community of people that care about them and their kids. At the end of the day, all of the churches have the same heartbeat. We just want to give every kid a high five, put a smile on their face and say, hey, have a great school year. And that's really the mission. That's the whole thing.
Free backpacks and school supplies were also available for all kids who registered for the event. The McDonald County School District yesterday also showed off some new buses. The district has 4 brand new buses, each of them capable of carrying 71 passengers. They have several new features as well as including electric doors and gear shifting mechanics that are similar to modern cars. Now they're training their drivers to use them.
They can actually learn how to drive a bus. It's not that difficult than driving your car. Actually, you can actually see more and know more what's going on. The main thing is how to deal with the children and how to keep them where they need to be. And we want to deliver the students to the school with a good attitude to start the day.
McDonald County heads back to school next week. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society joins us this morning to share how you can participate in the Clear the Shelters event. Welcome back. We've got Jasmine Kyle, the director of the SEK Humane Society, with us this morning. And just the most adorable things I've ever seen. They were born this morning. We have kittens with us this morning.
So we have these little tiny guys. As you can see, they're trying to crawl up already. They're acting like they're 2 weeks. But we had a bit of an emergency labor situation in just the past 24 hours. Mom's exhausted. And for these little tiny babies, the biggest thing is getting them up and keeping them to a hot enough temperature because you don't want them to get cold. So with mom taking a break and her needing her some time right now, we're kind of subbing in right now to give her that time and to make sure that they stay warm this morning. So
absolutely. Well, we couldn't be happier to have these little guys. They are absolutely adorable. So talk to me, Jasmine. You have a month-long campaign for adoption and donation going on right now.
Yes, we do. So yeah, for the entire month of August, all of our adoption fees are $20. So that's for dogs, that's for cats. That also includes foster to adopt. So even on the last day of August, if you come in and you want to do fostering to adopt, we'll honor that absolutely, even if it goes into September. So that goes for kittens, adult cats, puppies, adult dogs, all across the board.
Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful initiative. And this is the Clear the Shelters event, and it's a 10th annual adoption campaign. Now, where can people submit applications if they want to take part in this?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways. You can either come into our shelter. We're open almost every day except for Tuesdays and Wednesdays where we do our deep cleaning. Or even easier, you can just go online to our website, which is thesekhumanesociety.com, and you can easily submit your application there. We'll review it, get with you, and set you up a private adoption appointment.
Fantastic. And this Clear the Shelters is for both cats and dogs,
Yes,
correct?
yeah, it's one that we're super excited about every year because usually it's one or the other, but this time it's across the board for felines and canines. All of our adoptable animals, they're already altered, so they're spayed and neutered. They're microchipped, up to date on vaccination, and all of the dogs have been heartworm tested too. So we're doing a ton of medical work that you don't have to worry about.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being with us this morning. These little guys are the cutest thing. Welcome to the world, and thank you so much for being with us this morning. For more information, you can visit their website at seekhumanesociety.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:14, just about to be 7:15 on this Tuesday morning. We've got a lot of thunderstorm activity out there, and just saw a report from Cake News in Wichita that all roads in Emporia and in the Lyon County area are flooded. The sheriff's office there reporting all roads are flooded, and they're advising residents in Emporia to avoid traveling this morning. That's our other concern with these. While we don't have any severe weather, they are producing a tremendous amount of rain and a tremendous amount of lightning. Still over 200 lightning strikes with this batch alone. Look at how fast the lightning is just popping up here. And even in just these cells here, 39 lightning strikes out there. And we've had 5 or 6 very short-term lightning strikes with this little cell now northeast of Carthage. So we've got a lot of electrical activity out there. And we have a lot of heavy rain that's leading to flash flooding concerns out there as well. So we've got these storms that developed. This was the third kind of leg of this whole complex that developed this morning, stretching southeast across the area, and it's continuing to fire development now from northeast of Cassville, around Monette, some showers near just to the west of Mount Vernon, northeast of Carthage. We've got this thunderstorm that's going here. We've got heavier rain along I-49 south of Lamar, around Jasper, stretching back into the western portions of Barton County, eastern portions of Crawford County, just north of Pittsburgh, along 69 north of Girard. And then we've got this big complex. So we had the initial line of storms that was coming through that earlier this morning did have some severe thunderstorm warnings. Again, it's not severe now. Then a second line formed ahead of that, but it has almost been completely eaten up by the first line. So we're getting a tremendous amount of dangerous lightning and a tremendous amount of heavy rainfall that's going to start leading to significant flash flooding concerns because the ground is so dry across the area. Iola, you are up next. Garnett, Burlington, Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, Parsons, Independence, Sedan, all getting in on very heavy rain. And while we don't necessarily have the environment for severe weather necessarily, we do have the environment to sustain these storms as they continue. So Fort Scott, you are getting ready to get in on some heavy rain as well. This heavy activity, again, just missing Pittsburgh to the north. Now, all of this is continuing to push off roughly to the east-southeast, and you can see it just slowly moving. That's the other thing, is it was moving quickly, and then as it entered our area, it began to slow down, and that's where those flooding concerns are coming in as well as this continues on through. So these storms are going to stick with us through at least the early afternoon hours, and a strong storm or two is possible. We've still had some wind gusts upwards of 40 miles an hour, but again, we're not anticipating anything widespread severe-wise, but there's a lot of lightning and a lot of heavy rainfall. It won't be until about 4 o'clock or so that the last of these rain showers eventually make their way out of here, and then we'll have some of us warm up, upper 80s, low 90s. Some of you, again, especially out east where the rain takes a little longer to get out, will very likely only be into the low 80s. We're at 77 in Joplin right now. Feels like 79. It is soupy out there. We've got that thunderstorm northeast of town. And around the area, temperatures, again, much warmer for many of us than they were yesterday. Not moving much, but low, mid, and upper 70s across the area out there. As we go through the day, again, thunderstorms through at least the early afternoon hours. Tomorrow, dangerous heat, upper 90s, heat index values 105, maybe as high as 108. That persists into Thursday with some evening showers and storms on Thursday into early Friday. And then we'll be seasonably hot into the weekend with some additional rain chances next week. Again, we'll keep an eye on these storms this morning, and if anything pops up, we'll let you know. And we'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, the school year is just about to begin, and Joplin schools want to make sure that you and your young ones are prepared, especially when it comes to bus safety. We have Gina Langston and Buster the Bus with us this morning to invite you to their annual bus camp. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. So talk to me a little bit about this event, about bus safety and why it's so important for the community to come out and learn about this.
So the bus camp is this Saturday. It'll be from 9 a.m. to noon, and it is open for preschoolers that are, first year bus riders through first graders that are first year bus riders. They'll come and bring their families and have that first experience on the bus together in a nice, little bit more comfortable than just jumping on this big scary bus by themselves. So that'll be fun and very important because we don't, it's really important that the kids feel comfortable and understand the rules just for safety and everything. So.
Yes, wonderful. How exciting. And you're also going to be having a few vendors there as well?
Yep, we'll have vendors and they'll have fun giveaways and we'll have some carnival activities. Andy's Frozen Custard, they're sending a bunch of ice cream for us and hot dogs for lunch and all free. So
fantastic. Now on over to Buster. I've got some questions for you about why kids should come out. Can you talk to me about the most important rule to remember when riding the bus?
Good morning. The most important rule is to always buckle up. Just kidding. Most school buses don't have seatbelts, but keeping your body inside the bus and being respectful is key to a safe ride.
Those are good, important tips to have. And also for kids riding the bus for the first time, how can they be good passengers on the bus?
Well, being a good passenger means staying seated and keeping your voice down, and also being respectful to your friends as well as the bus driver.
That is a good tip. And what should I do while waiting for the bus?
While waiting for the bus, just stand still and don't run out into traffic. And always look left, right, and then left again if you need to cross the street to get on the bus.
Good and tips there. And one more last thing for me, Buster. Can you remind me about the danger zone around the bus?
Absolutely. The danger zone is the area around the bus where the driver can't see you. Stay at least 10 feet away from the front and back when getting on or off. Safety is a team effort.
All good tips there, Buster. To learn more about that, you can visit their Facebook page and search for Joplin Schools Bus Camp. We'll have more news and weather when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:27. I'm Elise Snowy. Authorities arrest a motorcycle driver for DWI following a crash Sunday night. The crash happened around 9:45 near Kenzer Road in Joplin. Troopers say a car pulling out of a private drive failed to yield to the motorcycle. Troopers arrested the motorcyclist for DWI and issued citations for no motorcycle endorsement and no insurance. He was released to seek medical treatment for moderate injuries. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, Kansas State Representative and State House Speaker Daniel Hawkins yesterday stopped by Pittsburgh to tour the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas and its John Perollo Education Center. The center helps train much-needed healthcare workers to fill gaps in rural communities, and Hawkins says his visit was designed to help him and other lawmakers understand the healthcare needs of the community.
To me, it was amazing to find out the number of people who come here that have insurance. It's not just an FQHC, federally qualified health center. It's also the health center for many people here in this part of the state. So for us, it's just a chance for us to get to know what's going on down here.
The Perollo Center supports rural family medicine, dental, nursing, and medical assistant training. Well, a bookstore in Joplin paid for 1,000 school lunches last year thanks to their school lunch assistance program, and they plan to pay for more this year. Always Buying Books is continuing to raise money to pay for school lunches in the 4-state area. Purchases from the book buffet go toward the program along with the donations. The year-long program started last year when store owner Bob Wolf noticed that paying for school lunches was a problem for some students.
Here in Joplin, and I found out Jefferson Elementary, and I found out that was a problem with some of his classmates. So we decided just to step up and help a little bit, and it's kind of taken a life of its own. We've had a lot of people support us.
The donations will be for that week's school lunches. Now here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're actually continuing to monitor these storms rolling into southeastern Kansas. So the storms pushing through have intensified a little bit, but they are just below severe limits. But for southeastern Wilson, Labette, Neosho, Montgomery counties, these storms have intensified just a bit. They're moving east-southeast at 45, starting to pick up wind gusts to 50 miles an hour and some pea-sized hail out here. So we're going to continue to monitor these storms as they continue to push off to the east-southeast. Latest update with that advisory is indicating they're moving east-southeast at about 45 miles an hour. So we've got a number of points of interest along this. We have this line. It was the last to form that's developed southeasterly from the main complex. So now into northeastern Jasper County, southern Barton County, south side of Lamar, back up through northwestern Barton County. We have the thunderstorms there, but our main focus, at least in terms of flash flooding concerns at this point and any stronger storms, is this part of the complex here. And again, so we're looking at 50-mile-an-hour winds, some pea-sized hail. So we're talking Chanute, Parsons, Independence, eventually into Coffeyville as well. For Donia, we've got to keep an eye on these storms. The other side of this is even looking at the one by Fort Scott here. There's a lot of heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning with these storms as well. So a lot to keep an eye on as they continue. We could see them intensify to low-grade severe. We're not anticipating anything too significant out of these storms, but we do need to keep an eye on them, and you need to make sure that you are watching out for that potential for flash flooding. And these storms, again, will stick with us through at least the early afternoon hours, but they won't be really done and out of here until about 4 o'clock this afternoon as well. We're going to still be hot today, upper 80s, low 90s for highs for most of us. We have dangerous heat on the way tomorrow. We'll get into details in the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. An 11-year-old boy, genius, overcomes his struggles so he can start college this fall.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We've got, of course, our good friend Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission joining us, and I'm just doing a little stirring over here. So we've had some great back-to-school recipes for the month of August, and we've got another one, this one, coming from the Soy Foods Guide.
It is. It's cashew chicken, which is kind of a favorite recipe for a lot of families, and we're going to show how to make it. It has lots of ingredients, but it doesn't take very long to make, and might be another one of those recipes that families can use back to school on the weekend or whatever. Now the chicken I cut, just boneless chicken, cut that into 1-inch pieces and put it in a Ziploc bag with some salt and pepper and some cornstarch.
Okay.
And then we browned it, so the chicken is done. And to that, if you're going to be the stirrer here, then I will start adding ingredients. Okay. We have broccoli florets that we've cut there. We have edamame that we're adding. A lot of green right there, isn't it? And then add some color here. We have 1 bell pepper that I've chopped. Oh, you've got some good sizzle going.
Oh yeah, now we're getting the cooking on here.
I might say that when we were browning the chicken there, sauteing it, we had in some vegetable oil and also some sesame oil. That gives it a little bit more color, or a little bit more flavor. There's carrots, sliced carrots. We've got a full skillet. Let's see if we can still add a little more. This is celery and then some water chestnuts.
Okay. This is a really colorful looking dish here.
It is, isn't it? So while you're doing that now, I'm going to make the sauce that goes on it. We have some garlic chili sauce that's in there. I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of soy sauce. You can either use regular soy sauce or a low sodium sauce.
Okay.
Going to add a little bit of vegetable oil, and then a little bit of rice wine vinegar. And then just to give it a little bit of sweetness, we've got a little bit of 3 tablespoons of honey that we're going to add to this sauce. And some ginger. How about that? A lot of ingredients here.
Yes, but so far all pretty simple to put together.
And you know, to make it simple for families, if you're going to do this in the evening, because it doesn't take long to cook, Chris, is you could have all these vegetables cut and sliced in your refrigerator.
Yeah.
And then all you have to do, just like what we did here, is get them out and put them in your skillet.
Smelling really good so far.
And we would let this cook until the vegetables are nice and tender. It doesn't take too long. And now we're going to pour the sauce over it. A little more sizzle there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and stir that. And then right before you serve it, Chris, we've got cashews, what we're going to stir into there. And then I've also got some green onion that we're going to put on there. Do you think that skillet will hold the cashews yet?
We're going to find out here.
That's a key ingredient, isn't it?
It is.
Great.
Okay, we got the cashews and we have the garlic as well.
Oh yes, add that garlic. Actually,
Stay there.
Garlic should have gone in when we first did it.
Oh.
It would have been easier to mix. I didn't see that over there. We had it kind of hidden over there. But put it in at the beginning when you're doing your chicken and the vegetables, and it'll be a little bit easier to mix in.
Yeah.
And then right before you serve it, put it on your plate, and we have some green onions that we'll sprinkle on the top.
Okay.
How colorful is that?
It looks amazing. It's again, smell-o-vision would be great because it smells amazing as well. So pretty simple, delicious. It looks great. It smells great. I have no doubt at this point that it tastes great. And if folks want this recipe or any of the others, where should they go?
They should go to kansassoybeans.org. We have all the recipes for August there. Or if you want to call our 800 number, 877-KS-Soybean, and we will mail you all the recipes and a copy of the Soy Foods Guide, because it's on page 21 in our Soy Foods Guide.
All righty. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Charlene, for coming in here this morning. We will have more of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:40, almost 7:41 on this Tuesday morning. We're continuing to track these thunderstorms as they're pushing into through southeast Kansas and ultimately into southwest Missouri. And we do have some stronger storms out there. Now, again, they are below severe limits, which is good news. But for parts of southeastern Wilson, Labette, Neosho, Montgomery counties, we do have some stronger storms that are producing winds up to 50 miles an hour and pea-sized hail. So we're going to take a radar tour of what we've got going on. So we have this, what was the third leg of storms that developed. So now this one pushing out of Berry County, just south of Galena, Missouri. And then we have thunderstorms around the Lamar area, just to the north of Jasper into Barton County. And they stretch back up to Fort Scott. And the other issue we've been facing is all of this. I mean, look at how quickly the lightning strikes are popping up on here. And if we even do just this small area here, that's 49 lightning strikes within that small zone right there. So we're talking dangerous lightning. On top of that, we're talking flash flooding concerns. We're also talking now winds up to 50 miles an hour for some of you as well. So you can see here where we've got the more intense and heavier rain now just east of Chanute, stretching back down to the south near Parsons, pushing through Independence and rolling into Coffeyville right now. So eventually Pittsburgh, Columbus, you're going to be up next on this, and it's still a lot that we want to keep an eye on this morning. Nothing severe, but still flash flooding a major concern, this lightning a concern. I mean, this zone here as well. Just look at how small that red box is, if you can see that there. 80 lightning strikes in just that one small square. So these are very electrical storms that are producing a lot of dangerous and deadly lightning out there. On top of that, here's the rainfall. So we mentioned earlier, reports of nearly every road in Emporia is flooded and impassable at this point, and you can see why. Look at these rain amounts exceeding pushing upwards 8 inches, and then back behind where the radar is estimating the rainfall, we're upwards of 3-4 inches of rainfall in a short period of time with these storms as they continue to push off to the east. So again, they're not severe at this point. They have intensified a little bit. They're sub-severe, but we want to keep an eye on them because even though our atmosphere here is not conducive for significant severe weather, we could get some stronger storms out of this activity. But again, the main focus here is all of this lightning. I did a check earlier over the whole zone, just in the southeastern Kansas, more than 400 lightning strikes within the southeast Kansas area. So lightning is one of the main issues we're facing. On top of that, we're watching that potential for flooding. They're not moving too fast, they're not moving too slow, but they are expected to stick with us through at least the early afternoon out there as we head through about 4 o'clock is when the last of the showers should be on their way out. And of course, that'll have its own impact on temperatures for varying folks today, similar to yesterday, and you can see kind of that scope. So we're looking at upper 80s, low 90s for most of us today. Otherwise, some of you may make upper 70s and low 80s, depending on how long the rain and cloud cover hang out. So we're going to continue to track these storms this morning. If any warnings are issued, we'll of course let you know. Tomorrow is our next concern, dangerous heat potentials. We go upper 90s, heat index values 105, maybe as high as 108, and that'll linger into Thursday. Then late Thursday into early Friday, we'll get some additional storms, and some of those could be strong, the low-grade severe out there, so something else to keep an eye on. It will be seasonably hot through the weekend, keeping an eye on additional rain chances as we head into the next work week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Consumer Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, many Americans may be running out of disposable cash. The Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco reports the lower 80% of American households saw a 13% drop than what was projected for the budgets before the pandemic. Some economists say credit struggles for lower income families could cause damage to consumer spending growth in the future. Month-to-month consumer spending growth has already slowed in the last 3 months. Well, canceling unwanted subscriptions could get a lot easier. The White House is proposing new rules to simplify canceling subscriptions as well as make it easier to get refunds and resolve customer complaints. The FTC is finalizing the proposed rule known as Click to Cancel. The rules are meant to cover all subscriptions, and the Biden administration says the companies make canceling subscriptions difficult to keep customers from dropping their services. Well, there's not a lot Donald Trump and Kamala Harris agree on, but there is one issue. It's a play for the vote of tip-earning workers everywhere. Some critics, however, warn it could have a downside. Fox News' correspondent Rebecca Castor explains.
It's an idea that's extremely popular with service and hospitality workers. No taxes on tips.
I love the idea. I would definitely prefer to not have taxes on my tips, and I think that I speak for most servers when I say that.
I think it's a way to save some money for just regular folks.
Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are promising to make it happen if elected to the Oval Office.
When I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips. There will be no taxes on tips. No taxes on tips.
It's been part of Donald Trump's economic pitch to voters since June. Then Harris made the same pledge at a rally on Saturday.
We will continue our fight for working families of America and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
She didn't say, I agree with Donald Trump, we should not tax tips. Here's an area where we agree. She just stole it.
Harris is taking some heat for seemingly copying Trump on the issue. Regardless, the idea is gaining bipartisan support in Congress, with 2 bills making their way through the House and the Senate. Even though a budget watchdog warns this practice could decrease federal revenue by up to $250 billion over the next decade.
It would create an enormous incentive to shift income from pay and wages to tips.
No matter who lands in the White House, it would likely take legislation from Congress to implement a no tax on tips policy. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. We'll be right back. Well, an 11-year-old boy will be among the college freshmen attending Louisiana State University this fall.
He's a whiz kid with a genius-level IQ. Katie Vasquez has this story.
Joe Petraro is enjoying the summer while he can. On the surface, he looks like a regular 11-year-old, interested in basketball and video games. But unlike other 11-year-olds, he isn't getting ready for middle school. He's going to college this fall.
Exams, tests. It was easy.
It all started a few years ago. Joe was attending Holy Name of Mary School in Valley Stream. He was struggling, almost put in special education, until he was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome, a neurological disorder that can cause uncontrolled rapid movements and vocal sounds.
Like, I'll be thinking about something and then it'll be like, okay, I'm doing that. All right. And it would take a while because then, like, I would tighten up my hand and, like, my arms.
The school soon realized Joe was actually a genius. With an IQ of 168, he would go on to graduate middle school and high school in 2 years.
I can't believe it. I'm proud of him. I just can't believe it. That's like, I'm still dreaming.
The electric one's the yellow pickup.
While school was easy for Joe, life outside the classroom was not. Having Tourette's made him a target for bullies. But the altar server at St. Joseph Church in Hewlett says his time in Mass helped him during dark times.
Like, it would just calm me down. And, like, when it always takes my mind off of everything.
Joe knows studying isn't the only thing that got him into Louisiana State University.
I think the guiding force is God, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know that I'm smart or like meeting all these good people.
He plans to study sports leadership, attending classes fully remote, with the dream of being a sports broadcaster.
Certainly incredible. What an accomplishment. 11 years old. Can't believe it.
Oh, I know it. That's just impressive indeed. And hopefully he becomes a sports broadcaster. We could always use some in this industry.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got thunderstorms that we need to talk about. So we're going to go to Skywatch Storm Tracker and we're going to take a moment to kind of recap some information for you. So you remember we mentioned we had some stronger storms in southeastern Kansas. That was initially Labette, Neosho, Montgomery, and southeastern Wilson counties. However, 2 other National Weather Service offices have kind of caught up on this as well. So we're looking at Craig, Newata, Washington counties in Oklahoma, Crawford, Southern Bourbon, and Cherokee counties in Kansas as well, with these what they call significant weather advisories, indicating we've got strong storms out there that are producing winds upwards of 50 miles an hour. So this is what we are keeping a very close eye on. Again, nothing severe at this point, but we're talking Coffeyville, Independence, Parsons, eventually rolling into Pittsburgh, Columbus, Fort Scott. It's this batch of storms here, and it stretches, as you can see, into northern Washington and Newata County, eventually making its way into Craig County out there. The other concern, again, with these storms is the fact that we just in this zone alone of these thunderstorms, more than 500 lightning strikes. So on top of flash flooding and strong storms, there's a lot of deadly lightning taking place with these storms as well. We're going to continue to track these storms. We'll have a look at your forecast, news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities arrested motorcycle driver for DWI following a crash Sunday night. Troopers say a car pulling out of a private drive failed to yield to the motorcycle, and troopers arrested the motorcyclist for DWI and issued citations for no motorcycle endorsement and no insurance. He was released to seek medical treatment for moderate injuries. Kansas State Representative and State House Speaker Daniel Hawkins stopped by Pittsburgh to tour the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas and its John Parolo Education Center. This center helps train healthcare workers in rural communities, and Hawkins says his visit was designed to help him and other lawmakers understand the healthcare needs of the community.
And we are continuing to track strong thunderstorms out there this morning. So again, Craig, Nowata, Washington County into Oklahoma, Crawford, Southern Bourbon, Cherokee County, Labette, Neosho, Montgomery counties into southeast Kansas. Could see wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. We're seeing a tremendous amount of dangerous lightning and the potential for flash flooding as well, with a torrential amount of rain falling out there. Again, no severe weather at this point, but these storms will continue to monitor them through the morning for you. Outside of that, these will continue through the early afternoon, clearing out by about 4. Most of us highs upper 80s, low 90s today. Dangerous heat possible tomorrow. Upper 90s, heat index values into the triple digits. That could continue Thursday. Some evening storms Thursday. Seasonably hot through the weekend. More rain next week. But again, we'll continue to monitor these storms across Kansas as they continue to push east this morning.
Absolutely. Well, England's Chester Zoo announced the birth of the critically endangered cotton-top tamarin monkey twins at the end of June. The twins were born following a 5-month pregnancy.
The species, which is native to northern Colombia, is named for the striking mane of white fur that starts at their forehead and runs over their shoulders, which resembles a fluffy cotton ball. More than 80% of their wild population has been wiped out in the last 2 decades alone. So very important birth there, and very important to make sure we're trying to conserve as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. Again, we'll continue to monitor these storms. If anything pops up, we'll pop in, and we'll see you back here at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.